Thanks for coming out. We'll call the meeting to order at roughly 9:35 a.m. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the agenda? So I'll be looking for a motion to approve, well, first for any changes to the agenda if needed. And if none, a motion to approve the agenda is written.
So moved.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. And now we'll do what we should have done first. Just introductions and, oh boy, I like to start with new victims. We'll start down there.
Miley Gray, Drive Smart, Colorado.
Thank you.
Morning.
That's right. Just move around the table.
I'm Dennis Crossler from Castle Colorado Senior Services. Kevin Girardi, Discover Goodwill.
Erin McCauley, Mountain Metro.
Fred Hare, Yellow Cab Company.
Ned Joe Vaccaro, Community at Large.
PPACG Community Intersections.
Brad Ball, Silver Key.
Courtney Stone, the Independence Center.
And
Craig Casper, PPACG.
Craig.
Jacob Manson, Mountain Metro.
Beth Diana, Mountain Metro. Megan Cards, DVR. Liz is running late.
Good morning, all. Next item is to approve the minutes. We've had a chance to take a look at the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as written? Ma'am.
I approve.
Thank you.
I move to
I'll second
approve.
it.
In favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Not too bad. Uh-oh. Now we move to public comments. I know we have at least one.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is not on the agenda, but we have recently become aware of a grant opportunity from the Colorado Health Foundation. And MMT is going to apply in order to provide rides to those in greatest need to the northern hospitals. It's an area of service that we don't currently provide because our fixed route service does not go near them and our ADA boundary does not go near them. So we rely on the area human service providers to provide those rides for specialized transportation. But we'd also like to, I don't know what that was. Okay, good. We'd also like to get to the people who do not qualify for specialized transportation. So your ambulatory people, maybe your low-income people, those who need rides up to the northern hospitals where there are specialists.
Maybe we don't need those on.
There you go. Where there are specialists and things like that. So we will be applying for it, and we're going to apply for $100,000 out of the $400,000 that's available. And we would love to partner with you as human service providers to provide those rides, and Yellow Cab as well. We would love to partner with you. So that grant application is due September 2nd, and it's being actually handled by our new grants analyst, Beth Diana. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask.
What will that $100,000 be? I mean, how will that be allocated?
We're going to try to do kind of like some sort of split. We're not sure what that split is, but basically what we're trying to do is figure out the demand for transportation up to the northern hospitals. And we figured we could go after the money to hire a consultant, but nobody really gets a benefit right now. So what we decided was, let's go after the money, let's provide service, but let's keep track of the data as far as denied rides, how many rides we give, how many are specialized transportation, how many are ambulatory, non-specialized. And then we'll use that information in 2018 to determine what kind of service we can or need to provide to the northern hospitals. So we're not exactly sure what split it is yet, but there will be probably a split between the two groups.
I appreciate the approach though, trying to provide the service versus using it more for cleaning. So will it be, I'm assuming it'll kind of be approached as a pilot, just so people don't get used to having the service if it doesn't, I don't know, yeah, I'm just wondering how you're gonna frame it, but.
Pretty much.
That's something.
Yeah, I mean, we are looking into partnerships with the northern hospitals or perhaps employers around the area up there to provide that service. We know we'd like to, but we need to find out a sustainable way to do so.
So are you looking for letters of support for the grant application?
We're always looking for letters of support.
If any, if you have like grant guidelines we could look at just to kind of.
Absolutely. As part of the grant application, we would like to list MCC as the collaborative group because really we're relying on you guys to provide the service. So we would be the lead agency going after the money and probably dealing with the data collection, but we really need you guys to actually drive the vehicles and provide the rides.
Would this tie into the transportation coordination project that's been ongoing with at least 4 of the providers?
Yes, the joint call center. We would love to add this function, if we get it, to the joint call center to have that ability, the data collection. The one ride, one call, one ride is perfect because every call goes through there. We can easily collect the data from that source and then be able to provide the rides. All right, thank you.
No, thank you very much. And
Where did you say the grant was from?
The Colorado Health Foundation?
Okay.
Further public comments? Outstanding. We were up to the number 5, the Medicaid Transportation Subcommittee request. Who am I looking for on this? That's because you can't, I'm reading, of course I'm reading the wrong document. Training, information, and sharing. You'll get used to me after a while. I'm old and senile. But I'm quite comfortable with the condition.
Maybe we gave you 2 agendas. You have to pick one.
No, I will without a doubt read whatever piece of paper's on top. It's an excuse. Training information, or training, information sharing, coordination opportunities.
I'll share a quick training opportunity just since I met you guys about voting a month or 2 ago. But I'll pass around the flyer just in case this might be interesting for some of your users or consumers or staff even. But we have the county coming out with accessible voting machines. And so if people want to try those out before actual election day when you've got lines behind you and it's a little more stressful, we're doing a whole sort of series of events that day. So either way, I'll pass out a flyer with information about that and just general voting stuff. So feel free to distribute and let me know if you want electronic copies. Thank you. And that's September 19th from 1 to 3 at the Independence Center.
Thank you. Anything further in the training, sharing, et cetera?
Maggie up at Teller Coalition in Woodland Park mentioned to me, I think, coming up on the 7th, she's going to do a pass training.
Oh,
Not sure of the date, just get a hold of Maggie at Teller Coalition. Kind of half listened because I didn't have any drivers that needed it at this time, but she said she had a pass training coming
excellent. Certified pass trainers are becoming rare in the state of Colorado somehow.
Yeah, it's necessary for money, though.
Hmm?
It's necessary for money.
It is, it is.
I would go ahead and add one thing real
please.
quickly. It's not on the agenda, but I was just going to give an update. Next call center meeting is the 6th of September, and we will have Teague Kirkpatrick from Route Match there to answer our questions and some direct support from Route Match at that point, which is good.
Excellent, excellent. You, by the way, have my deepest sympathy.
Thank you.
One of my, there's a corporate vice president somewhere working on a call center who has to take grief from people like me. I'm sure you're getting your share. Oh, that was an aside. Okay, now the goodies, and boy, did we get a lot of paper on this, on the PPACG tip Appendix E, funding sources.
Okay, as was mentioned in the memo, in December, we got new federal legislation that funds transportation through year 2020. And this new federal legislation made a lot of changes to the old, especially in the funding categories. We used to have different funding categories. Now they've consolidated funding into just a few sources. Those are what you see listed in Appendix E. I'll just run through them real quick. CMAQ, Congestion Mitigation Air Quality, we are in attainment, and on October 1st, 2018, it will be 20 years, more than 20 years since our last violation, so that means that we won't be eligible for CMAQ anymore. So that funding source is going away in just a couple of years. They also created a surface transportation block grant program. That's our biggest source of funding. It's about $6 or $7 million a year, but it's also our most flexible. So it can fund pretty much everything except operations of transit facility, so it can buy vehicles, things like that. Then there's the surface transportation block grant set aside, which is more aimed at non-motorized type projects, sidewalks, bike trails, things of that nature. Those are the categories of funding that are directly controlled by a board of directors. There's then through CDOT, there's the Highway Safety Program, which has to be performance-based, and we are going to actually September 6th and 7th getting training so that we'll be able to identify all the places that are eligible for that kind of funding. So we'll know that. Bridge funding is a pretty small pot for off-system bridges to make sure that they don't fall down. We like that. Then the largest pot of money that comes from the federal government to Colorado is the National Highway Performance Program. That is money that is to be spent on the national highway system. CDOT has interpreted it to mean the national highway system that they control. That's not what the federal law says, so that's a discussion we're having with CDOT now. Then there's transit revenues, and those all go through, pretty much all go through Mountain Metro or CDOT. The state sources at Colorado are the HUTF. Those get distributed to the municipalities and counties and then through CDOT. Not really accessible. They use it for their, as they desire. Gaming funds, those are supposed to be in for counties like Teller. However, it's become a tradition now where those funds are actually absconded with by the state legislature and not allowed to pass through to the county. Local sources, PPRT. So that is Appendix E. Those are the sources, all the sources of funding that are available, public sources of funding that are available within our region. Are there any questions on those? There's not actually as much as anybody would like. Based on our long-range plan and TIP process, which both of which are starting now for the next go-round, we have about 6 times the need than we do as we do funding. So,
Craig, how much is What percentage of the budget is covered through fare box at the present time?
I don't know the exact number, but it's usually around between 10 and 20%. It fluctuates based on a lot of different factors. But I will say Mountain Metro is actually one of the most efficient in the country. The fare box recovery at Mountain Metro is the top tier fare box recovery. It's not. There are a lot of places where they're not getting much back at all. So. Any other questions on sources of funding? Like I said, we just finished our last call for projects for 2 years. So we are, of course, starting our next one. Right now, it's about a 16-month process. We'll be calling for years, 2023 and 2024. That's about how far out we book money. So look for that in the next 6 months, that actual to come through.
The call for projects is that published on the, what are they, wherever it is, I see the RFPs, the city RFPs, or does that just?
No, that goes through PPACG's process, so it'll be on our website, and we send it out to the committees. So you get it, MCC gets it, our TAC, Transportation Advisory Committee gets it, our CAC, Citizens Advisory Committee gets it, so we send it out to all of that. To be eligible, most funds, not all, have to go through a public entity, and actually CDOT just released a call for projects for the recently that has to go through public entities also. So we make sure that everybody who's eligible gets a chance at funding.
Yeah, thank you. Generally, I just do taxi, but we have people around the organization that do other things and may or may not be eligible and may or not have an interest, but I always pass it along just in case.
Yes.
So, thank you. This is becoming easy. One more PPACG item, the Human Services Transit Plan.
And
That
we just, and it's me again, so as one thing transportation is good about is volumes of paper. So what we sent out is the human services portion of our regional transportation plan that was adopted in November. I've lost track of my November 2015. So this is in one of the appendices. This was actually adopted last summer, June or July last summer. And this is actually the reason for the MCC to exist is you act as our local providers that we use to develop this plan. We are on a 4-year cycle, and it takes about 3 years to do a plan. So we're about 13 months into our last plan. So that means just about time to start the next one. So if you could just read through the existing plan, familiarize yourself with it, and then look for us to be coming to you in the next few months to start the next process. This was a pretty thorough effort. So among the options, redoing this thorough effort or just looking at the parts that need to be updated and updating those parts, data and everything else. Our plan must now be performance-based. So data gathering is going to be one of our big issues. So we'll be having to do a process for sure about both the need and then the performance of the human services system. Are there any questions on that? It's nice leisurely reading.
I'm curious about so performance-based, are we going to have to come up with standards for what that looks like, or have they already kind of provided those and we're just measuring? You're smiling, that's not good.
There are federal rules that should be coming out that will give us an idea of what to measure. We don't know what those are yet because they haven't been published yet. So the answer is yes, probably. but we don't know exactly what. And then some of it could be something as simple as measuring the equipment, some of them are maintenance, so how good are the equipment? How, what condition are the buses, et cetera, in? And there's probably going to be a ride satisfaction requirement. How satisfactory, what's the quality of service of the rides provided? That's really all that has been speculated on the human services part right now, but we're following it. And when something comes out, you'll be the first committee to know. So.
Thank you. Performance-based, I've always liked that. It'd be nice to hear,
It is, yep.
to hear what they mean. Now, I believe we have a presentation from Fountain Valley Senior Services. Senior Citizens Program, I should say. I'll get it right, Dennis.
We all know what you mean.
Thank you. And I have no voice.
You kind of learned it by now, huh? Okay, so I'm Dennis Crosser from the El Paso Fountain Valley Senior Citizen Program. I am the Transportation Operations Supervisor, Executive Director. Basically, the Fountain Valley Senior Center does a variety of services and programs, but I've narrowed this down to be basically the transportation part of our program. So for 40 years, the El Paso Fountain Valley Senior Citizens Program, known as Fountain Valley Senior Center, or FVSC, has worked hard to accommodate a growing population of senior clients aged 55 years and older. The organization seeks to identify and establish services to meet the needs of the elderly. These objectives are met by providing a variety of services, including transportation, nutrition, health, and wellness, home-delivered meals, social activities, and counseling. Operating with a small staff of dedicated people and maintaining all guidelines and constraints through funding sources, daily circumstances, and situations, FVSC is determined to make the best choices through understanding daily needs and exercising common sense to provide an utmost solution. The staff is equipped to properly handle most questions, concerns, and problems regarding any senior adult using our services and to those attending FVSC in a dignified and reasonable way. Our mission is to provide services and activities to older adults which enhance dignity, support independence, and encourage involvement in the community. The El Paso Fountain Valley Senior Citizens Program was established on June 25, 1975, through an agreement by the Board of County Commissioners and by retired citizens who saw the need to help others in the area due to a lack of services for this population. On October 7, 1976, the first business meeting was held. Today, the organization operates collectively through the support of both El Paso County and the nonprofit senior citizens utilizing county and nonprofit employees. Also, FVSC could not provide the level of services that it offers without relying on the value and support from its many dedicated volunteers. The program operates a center for senior citizens who reside in the greater Fountain Valley to include Fountain, Security, Whitefield, Stratmore Valley, and Stratmore areas of southern El Paso County, and Calhoun, Peyton, Gilder, Ellicott, Rush, and Falcon areas of eastern El Paso County. The El Paso Fountain Valley Senior Citizens Program receives Title III funds to operate two specialized service programs, Fountain Valley Senior Transportation Program and the Rural Area Program, also known as RAMP. Both programs are broken down into 4 services that include assisted transportation, regular transportation, home-delivered meals, nutrition education. FVSC provides door-to-door and door-through-door regular transportation and assisted transportation service to eligible persons age 60 and older and under 60 disabled persons confined to a wheelchair living in the Fountain Valley and eastern El Paso County areas, and includes some areas of southern Colorado Springs with specialized transportation services prioritizing clients 60 years old and over according to dialysis and medical appointments to assure registered clients get to their scheduled doctor or clinical appointments on time, congregate meals, drop into the Fountain Valley Senior Center daily meal site for a nutritional noontime meal, adult day programs, work and volunteering, shopping, personal, religious, education, recreation, and other needs. Transportation service with extended age criteria in certain areas are supported by El Paso County through money received by the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority, the PPRTA, to help accommodate transportation needs not covered by other funding. Fountain Valley Senior Transportation Program served 537 unduplicated clients and 16,188 one-way trips for the contract year 2016 at a cost of $23.28 per ride. The cost per trip is determined by the total program cost, $376,855, divided by the total number of one-way trips at 16,188 equals $23.28. The transportation program incorporates 9 part-time drivers, 1 part-time transportation coordinator, 1 part-time dispatch scheduler, and a small handful of volunteers. Our very small staff of part-time workers accommodate demand services on a very large scale and are diverse in every department. FVSC currently has 11 vehicles in use. Trips are provided using 7 ADA-compliant minibuses, 1 regular full-size van, 2 minivans, and 1 wheelchair-accessible mobility vehicle, accumulating a total of 277,294 vehicle miles and 250,560 passenger miles last year. Fountain Valley Senior Transportation Program provides a vehicle to cover the Falcon Area Transportation Program that include Peyton and Black Forest, and to help accommodate the need for residents living in Ellicott, Yoder, and Rush. Fountain Valley Senior Transportation vehicles are fueled and maintained by El Paso County Department of Transportation Fleet Maintenance Program through a method of understanding agreement detailing all maintenance procedures and requirements. The employees at Fountain Valley Senior Center and El Paso County Fleet Maintenance Program have developed an outstanding relationship concerning maintenance procedures and requirements for providing safe and well-maintained vehicles. The Rural Area Meal Program provides services to individuals who are aged 60 years and older within the entire El Paso rural county. Utilizing transportation services, RAMP delivers nutritionally balanced frozen meals, frozen sandwiches, and shelf-stable meals weekly to residents 60 years of age and older and disabled residents who are homebound or geographically isolated. For 2016 contract period, the RAMP program delivered 5,511 frozen meals to 63 unduplicated clients and mailed 467 monthly nutrition education newsletters composed by a registered dietitian to 72 qualifying older adults meeting Title III requirements. Through the help of RAMP's Nourishing Meal Delivery Program, many seniors are kept healthier longer and can stay in their own home as long as possible. The cost for food to accommodate this growing need rises every year. Today, statistics show a growing social need caused by economic factors which include physical and mental disability, economically disadvantaged, and those whose ethnicity are identified as minority and include persons with cultural, social, and language barriers or geographical isolation, which restricts an individual's ability to perform normal daily tasks or which threatens such individuals' capacity to live independently. Preference and priority of services for both transportation and RAMP shall be given to older persons with the greater social or economic need, with particular attention to low-income minority individuals and individuals who are frail, homebound by reason of illness or incapacitating disability or otherwise isolated. FVSC works to meet the needs of those older adults who are living in rural El Paso County and have limited access to services within city limits. These include individuals who need assistance due to cognitive and/or physical difficulties, limiting their ability to utilize regular vehicular transportation, and those older adults who have difficulty going from one location to another for various reasons. There is a pronounced isolation factor in both southern and eastern El Paso County due to lack of other transportation providers who offer door-to-door or door-through-door services. Furthermore, when public transportation is available, most seniors are unable to access this service due to physical or other limitations getting to the bus stops in their area. Our specialized service accommodates the frail and disabled older adults. The FVSC Transportation Department exercises good judgment when dealing with special needs of our clients and passengers. We are committed to excellence with consideration for those whose language presents a difficulty in communicating physical and emotional situations or difficulties in relaying passenger destination addresses. In order to help promote time efficiency, we are always learning new ways to adjust our time schedules to accommodate high and low work time traffic. The Transportation Department schedules 2 to 3 buses per day, 5 days a week, to accommodate approximately 48 individual clients to the Fountain Valley Senior Center meal site, where they can participate in socialization, activities, classes, and the Golden Circle Nutrition Meal Program. FVSC serves an overall average of 90 to 120 diners daily. The Eastern location in Calhoun serves an average of 100 diners 2 times a month. The Fountain Valley Senior Transportation Program conducts staff meetings, driver discussions, workshops, and trainings that enable all transportation-related employees to share issues, concerns, challenges, and successes. These meetings maintain a comfortable open-door policy between staff, clients, and the business community that help keep everyone involved, informed, and motivated through better communication and understanding. Schedule rides, vehicles, and drivers are efficiently monitored through the Route Match software program, relatively new for Fountain Valley Senior Transportation. It is proving to be a user-friendly software device, effective in scheduling and dispatch, as well as generating easy reports to all of our funding agencies. The El Paso Fountain Valley Senior Citizens Transportation staff works honestly and diligently to be in compliance with proper reporting procedures and is in full acknowledgement of discrepancies and fully committed to correcting them. El Paso Fountain Valley Senior Transportation Department works hand in hand with the City of Fountain to provide an overall transit service for the Fountain Valley community. As of April 1st, 2012, the City of Fountain Municipal Transit System, managed by the Fountain Valley Senior Transportation Program, provides the availability of 6 buses for public transportation to cover 1 deviated fixed route deviating 3/4 of a mile. This offers twice as much coverage from the previous years. Through the support from the City of Fountain, Fountain Valley Senior Citizens Program employs 1 full-time program service manager and 1 dispatch worker. There are 5 part-time CDL licensed drivers employed by the City of Fountain. The City of Fountain Transit System will be responsible for the ownership, maintenance, and insurance of the vehicles that are titled to their name. This is a mutually beneficial arrangement that both partners can feel good about. We are always in the process developing service, route strategies, hiring employees, working out time schedules, creating spreadsheets, data entry and monthly reporting procedures, and establishing computer and telephone systems. We are excited about working together and at the same time helping to strengthen transportation needs in the Fountain Valley area. As one major means of community recognition, the Fountain Valley Senior Center participates in the annual Labor Day Fountain Fall Festival, displaying its minibuses and minivans as part of the parade. In 2006, 2012, and 2014 parade event, the Transportation Department constructed a float that took first-place trophies each of the 3 times, receiving the Traveling Trophy and Mayor's Award in 2006 and the Best in Theme Award for 2012 and 2014. There are many transportation challenges. providing sufficient and timely services to all eastern area clients, to hire more drivers to cover the area growth, to cover all program costs and eliminate shortfalls, long distances, and severe weather conditions. Due to the high volume of ride requests to the ratio of low number of paid drivers generates an unmet need to where lower priority rides are not given because vehicles are tied up in the higher priority rides. Services offered by Fountain Valley Senior Center are extremely valuable to all southern and eastern El Paso County area clients. The overall cost to run Fountain Valley Senior Transportation Program is $376,855. The overall cost for appreciation, gratitude, and sincere smiles is priceless. In conclusion, the Fountain Valley Senior Center has been in the business of providing effective and dependable services to the elderly population for 40 years and will continue to maintain the energy and commitment it takes to strive and reach towards excellence.
Dennis, I have a question.
Yes.
Since the county picks up a lot of your maintenance and some other things, is that figured into the overall cost of your rides?
That is figured into the RTA dollars for one, and then the county also puts in funding above and beyond that.
But more in regard to the cost of in-kind service, say maintenance, for instance, which is very expensive for any transportation service.
Yes.
Is that figured into the budget?
Yes.
$376,000.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Colorado Springs is an aging community as compared to Denver, Fort Collins, Boulder, or whatever. And I don't know if the demographics even exist, but is the elderly community increasing in a larger proportion in your service area, or do you know?
I can't say I know that for sure.
Actually, we just did a demographic analysis, and El Paso County has traditionally been younger than the state of Colorado, and Colorado's younger than the rest of the country. What's happening now is we're catching up to the average, but we're not older than any part of the rest of the state. We're just catching up to where they are.
Let's see, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
It's pretty easy to find that information on per county per county, residents who are over 65 over the course of many years. I mean, the Colorado Department of Transportation and their problem identification report every year post that. They break it down by county, how old the population is in each county.
Excellent, thank you.
You can access that online.
I should do that. I lost my, and Courtney, a driver awards update?
Yeah.
That was cool, by the way. I enjoyed that.
I'm so glad. I think I should be okay. I do have to pull up a video on here real quick. But we just sort of here, let me transition.
Wait, I was trying to save you.
So the Independence Center hosted our Celebrating Progress in Transit luncheon on July 26th. Anybody in the room attend? I know a couple of you did. Any impressions from the group? We had about 350 attendees, a good amount of elected officials and community leaders and all of that good business. But I really wanted to highlight today our Transit Drivers Award video and hand out some photos of your drivers with the mayor receiving their awards. So mainly just kind of trying to end on a happy note and thank you guys for all the work that you do. But any thoughts from the luncheon while I'm pulling this up? I will mention we did a little postcard thing that people could fill out as they were there. And one of the questions was, did this event help you understand the importance of public transportation? And we had about 200 people out of the 350 respond, and 100% said that they did have a better understanding of why it matters, and that was a really cool thing to pull away. So we actually have a whole just for this event, because we did several interviews, we have quite a few different videos on different transit topics. So the driver's award video, if you guys want to see that. And Anna, do I do anything for sound?
No, you should already have that on there.
Let's see.
So we can go to the Independence Center Transit and watch.
Correct. Yes. Yep. So I'm just going to play the 2-minute kind of driver thank you video if I can get sound, because it's quick and very cool. But maybe I.
You know, you don't have it.
So they're all speaking here. Yeah. Anything? That's there. That's there. So I guess in the meantime, I will go ahead and hand out these photos, but you are welcome. Since your drivers got trophies for their awards, we wanted the organizations to have a little memento as well. So Charles Jennings, Gary Maestas, Ricky Brooks, and Robert Bailey. Well, the first 3 were Mountain Metro Transit drivers, and then Metro moved up the lilies for Robert Bailey. And Charles just has such a fantastic picture with the mayor. We got an extra that's on the back of his frame because it's awesome.
It should work now.
Yeah, it's on the speakers now.
Okay. Well, either way, all of these videos are available, so you can check them out. And if you want to just, if you send them to your drivers, they're available. But you can, there's things about how to get started using transportation, building transit to help support the aging population. So if any of these seem like they would be useful tools for you, feel free to grab them. There's transit testimonies, which is kind of cool. It's a whole 5-minute video just about your riders talking about their experiences using your services. So either way, that's a resource. So thank you guys for being involved with this whole project. We really appreciate it. And we'll kind of keep you updated if we kind of maintain doing some sort of People's Choice Award in the future. Probably wouldn't be quite as attached to a big luncheon, but I think it's a good priority to maintain. So thank you. Oh, and also, so that's Mountain Metro, Wayne Peacock with Found Valley Senior Center. Thank you. Let's see, Ray Schwartz. And Dick was such a close runner-up, but either way.
They deserve it more than I do.
Melvin will give to Melvin Smith with Amblicab, and then Jack Souders from Silver Keep. So thank you guys for your time.
We can watch it.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, we won't hear anything still. Listen.
Go to full screen.
Yeah, so it's there. It is all closed captioned as well, so I guess we could read it as background, but either way, it's all captioned if you need that. But there's several different writers kind of talking about their experiences and some quotes that all of the writers included with their nominations. So anyway, I think that is it, but thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Courtney. That was a great event. We had a good time.
Thank you.
This is nebulous almost. Medicaid transportation topics from MCC members. That could mean anything. Who wants to start?
Discussion is over.
Great talk, guys.
Used to be a subcommittee, I guess no agenda.
It was easier with no agenda. In speaking with Craig yesterday about the northern hospitals, and thank you, by the way, for the call. We really appreciate it. One of the topics of conversation, and naturally I brought it up, is economy. How much stuff costs is important. I hate becoming political, but in some cases I must. As we make our choices in who is going to provide transportation services, For instance, the Public Utilities Commission did a little deregulation on contract carriers. From what I can see, that was to the better. It'll make it easier for folks to get started. What they did not do in that deregulation was change standards for vehicles and drivers. Which brings me to my political thing, and one never wins from bad-mouthing the competition. But ride-sharing service, transportation network companies are a possible economic choice. They're legal. The state legislature passed a law. The Public Utilities Commission regulates them. The standards for their drivers are less than the standards for taxi and contract carrier drivers. The standards for their vehicles are less than for taxi cabs and contract vehicle carriers. If cost is the only subject, is the only concern, I got a couple of vehicles on my lot that the state says are too old for taxi cab service, and quite frankly, I concur. But I can make them run. And I can get some guy in it, and if he doesn't have to have a license, a background check, or a whole lot of training, I can run that thing pretty darn cheap. But still, it's a matter of economy. And there's my political comment for the, hopefully the year, perhaps the decade. Thank you. Wow. Action items for the next meeting.
I think this is already in the works, getting set up, but just so you guys can start processing, we did hire an emergency preparedness coordinator at the IC, and their job is to kind of just ensure that emergency planning at the county and city level includes people with disabilities effectively. We've had some issues with that in the past. So either way, she was going to come and just talk at our next meeting for a few minutes about some of the transportation needs she's identified in that assessment as far as when emergencies happen, how do we make sure that people are getting out of those areas. So she may, she'll have more specifics about what that will look like, but I think that should be on the agenda for next month, and yeah, just so you know.
I'm just as certain as could be that Gail would have something that we're supposed to follow up on, and I just don't know what it is.
She said she didn't have any items when she emailed, so I think we're okay.
I'm in luck. I'm in luck. Which brings us to the final one. Thank you all for tolerating me, and thanks for all the presenting good information. We'll adjourn the meeting about 10:25.